Hi, my name's Mark, one of the pastors here at Trillium. Have you ever been out driving in the country and you see one of those big Bible verse signs, like the unfolded book, and in the midst of it there's some passage from the Bible? I was out a few weeks ago and I came across a sign that said, "Prepare to meet thy God." I'm going, yikes, that's not so good. It didn't sound very promising to me. It had an implied threat in it. And there may be some truth in the sign, but it seemed to me conveying a message that was rooted in fear. I saw another one that said, "Be sure your sin will find you out." And there's a truth in that passage, but I'm thinking to myself, what is the point of it all? Like, what are these signs trying to convey to people about God, about Jesus, about faith? Because they certainly have a point of view that they're trying to get expressed. I find in most of the signs, there's some notion of threat, an implied threat, sometimes very explicit threats to us, as if we're to be shaken up a bit by them. It got me thinking about how, pretty much everything in life teaches us something about life. All the experiences we have teaches us something about how life works, or even about human nature. Our experiences with other people reinforces our understanding in pretty much every case about human nature. There's some kind of basic understanding getting expressed. And it got me thinking about the fact that, in a way, each of us are like walking billboards, because we, in our own way, teach others about life, and their experience of us and their understanding through us of what is and how human nature works. And it got me thinking, well, I'm a walking billboard. I'm teaching people about life and about human nature. What is it that's on my sign? What am I, in a sense, teaching other people? And the answer is, I don't really know. I've never really given much thought to that. That I'm teaching them something, absolutely, but exactly what it is, I'm not sure. There's a kind of curriculum that always stands behind all teaching. And a basic understanding of how life works, who we are, what other people are, what's the relationship between us and other people. And there's this understanding that lives behind the teaching. And if we're not careful, we're going to end up teaching what I call the old curriculum, the curriculum of the world, the old curriculum. What's this curriculum of the world based on? Well, it's based on fear and scarcity and dread and punishment and death even. And you can see it in pictures from World War II when bombed out German cities are just leveled to the ground. These places of life and vital energy are just destroyed completely. You can see it in pictures from Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge regime where they killed 1.7 million people. It's a picture of a little kid walking past this pile of bones, thinking, what would it be like to grow up in that world? See, that's the curriculum of the world. And we see it around us all the time in those little micro moments of life. The Antifa fighting the alt-right in pictures and in events in life. I've seen those. We see it on shows like Judge Judy, where two parties come together and they're in these little micro conflicts where people fail to do what is the right thing in life. They sort of retreat into their own egotism and self-interest. In the Gospel of Matthew, in what's called the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus offers us a new curriculum, a new understanding of who we are and who our neighbor is and how we're to live with each other. And it's not rooted in fear or scarcity or lack or dread or punishment. It's actually rooted in love. And in fact, there's one section on the Sermon on the Mount where he talks about love, and he says, "You've heard it said, love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy," which is, of course, the old curriculum. He said, "I give you a new teaching. Love your enemy and praise them, bless them, seek God's goodness upon their lives." Why? Because your Father in heaven blesses you. He blesses you along with all people. All people receive the blessing of God in heaven for this life. And then because your Father in heaven lives this way with you, you're to live this way with your neighbors, whoever they might be. It got me thinking, is that the billboard that I'm going around presenting to the world? Is that what's written on my billboard? God is love, and therefore so am I. Is that what I'm being called to express? And is that what I'm reinforcing with people in life? I sure hope so. Because my choice in this moment is critical to the teachings of the world. How are people going to know that God is love except through me? How are people to know that we're to love people, all people, regardless of whether they're our friend or an enemy, except through me?